blessings, the ability to be here, Father. I thank you for all that you've done for us, Lord, as a county. We're grateful to you. We pray for your wisdom tonight, Lord, your direction as we seek to do what's best for the people of Smith County. And we pray that you would bless everything that goes on here tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Lydia Gregory. Here. Helen Bowes. Here. Terry Gibbons.
Here.
Billy Bass.
Here.
Greta Curley. Here. Charles Kent.
Here.
Ron Haskell. Buddy Barrett.
Here.
Matt Ginier.
Here.
Erica Evil. Here. Cordell Smith.
Here.
Danny Irizarry.
Here.
Stephen Leash.
Here.
Eddie Stout.
Here.
Casey Elrod.
Here.
Justin Malden.
Here.
Barry Cahoon.
Here.
Tommy Bain.
Here.
Junior Fields.
Here.
Connor McDonald.
Here.
Tim Beller.
Here.
Jamie Huff.
Here.
Dave De La Rosa.
All right. One thing I should have said before Connor Craig is Ron Pascal's son had a surgery today. Has been sick for a while now, and so remember him in your prayers. All right. Next on the item is public comment. We do have 11 signed up for public comment. So, you know. All right, so we'll just talk loud. All right, so we have public comment. We do have 11 signed up for it. Our rule says 10, but may be granted more by the commission, by the chairman. So I grant that all 11 may speak. First on the list is Ms. Tressa Bush. Is she here? Can you come up and address? Per our rules, you have 3 minutes. We'll start a timer when you start.
Sure. I wanted to speak in reference to the 1981 Financial Management Act. Is that something that is going to be voted on? Are there enough commissioners here that it will be voted on tonight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My comment is my comment. It's my opinion, and I have a right to an opinion. I have read about the act. I'm not saying that I'm an expert. But the one thing that I want to say is I believe that it takes the pressure off of a lot of people to have this act enacted. When you have a committee of 7, which has our mayor, superintendent, road person, and 4 others making decisions about the biggest thing that we have in our school, and them being able to have the ability to hire and fire that finance person, not saying anything nefarious has happened anywhere, but I think it would be good to have a committee. 2 minutes? Fine, no problem. To do that, and that's all I wanted to say. I just think it's good. It takes pressure off of the person. Having a 7-person committee who has all of their interests, the school person, the road person, the mayor, to be able to do that, and for the committee to be able to have that person responsible for the millions of dollars that are spent. Again, this is my thought process. It's not being disrespectful to anybody. I've got friends and family on both sides. It's just my thought, and I thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next on the list is Randy Glover.
First off, I tried to contact as many of y'all as I can possibly do. I've met with some of you, I've talked to you on the phone. If I haven't, I'm sorry, I tried. I'm not gonna stand up here and tell you that I am for this and for that. You need to vote for this, you don't need to vote for that. I feel as if we are all being rushed into a decision that's gonna affect thousands of people of this county. And I feel as if we can hold off on this, because if you vote yes, then there's no coming back. It is what it is. If you vote no, it can always be brought back up. If you table it, let's get together, let's talk, let's work this things out together. Promise you, the school board is willing to meet with you guys. That is a false rumor that we're not. We have tried several times to meet with y'all, and I promise you, I will come to your house and meet with each and every one of you personally. We want to work together. We're here to work together. We're elected to work together. All I'm asking for, I'm not asking for a yes, I'm not asking for a no. All I'm asking is for time. It's time for us to educate ourselves about what's right and wrong for our county. Right now, we're being rushed. We had a special called meeting, emergency meeting for something that didn't need to be special called for one. And number two, here we are the next meeting trying to vote for something that was special called. We need to educate ourselves about what this does and doesn't do for our county, our kids, and our teachers. Because they're here to show up and tell you exactly what they want. All I'm asking for is your time, guys. Give us time to meet and hash this stuff out. Call me. My phone's up all the time. Thank you.
All right, next on the list is Mr. Tommy Manning.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I'd make sure that you understand, I'm not here as a school board member. I'm here as a taxpayer and a citizen of Smith County. And first of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for your time that you serve on this committee. I mean, same way with the school board, I want to thank the school board member. I mean, people, it takes a lot to serve. And of course, people get mad at us, and a lot of people get mad at us. And very few get happy, but anyway. Only thing I want to say tonight is, I'll speak for my almost 20 years on the school board. Make sure you guys do your homework. Make sure don't always drink the Kool-Aid that maybe somebody's presenting to you. Make sure if you've got a job to do your homework. On what you might be voting on tonight, I'm sure each and every one of you have got a cost analysis sheet sitting in front of you of what it's going to cost to put a county controller in. I kind of know, because several years ago, I was contemplating running for this position. And I had this idea years ago. Then I got doing some homework on it, and I'm not sitting here saying it's a good idea or a bad idea. Doing some homework, it's going to cost some money. You got to hire a controller. I had one already in my back pocket. Controller's going to cost you some money. Then you're going to have to put some people around it, especially if you want to start dealing with all the county, and especially the biggest employer of the county, the Smith County School Board. Just make sure you do your homework, make sure you ask questions, and just make sure. And the next thing I'll leave with, if this is such the greatest thing in the world, and these top controllers over here, they'll put a statement in to tell you they'd like to see this. If it's so great, why is there only 20-something counties in the state of Tennessee that does this? That would be one of the questions I would ask. But anyway, thank y'all, and thank you for your service, and I appreciate it.
All right, next is Mr. Eric Swan.
Commission. My name is Eric Swan. I'm the Special Education Director at Smith County Schools. I'd like to take a few moments to discuss how passing the 81 Act would negatively impact our students with disabilities. The Special Education Department receives over $33.6 million in federal, state, and local funding each year to support our students with the most intense needs. Many of these funds are awarded annually through competitive grants that require very time-consuming steps. If these steps are not followed and deadlines not met, then we risk losing needed funds to support our students with disabilities. Our finance department is essential in making sure we maintain compliance with numerous rules and regulations that each of these grants mandate. I work with and need direct access to our finance department, not monthly, not weekly, but daily. We submit anywhere from 10 to 20 purchase orders a week. Many of these purchase orders are often emergency supplies and materials that need immediate attention. Mr. Smith and our finance department are always available to complete purchasing paperwork as soon as possible. When a special education emergency arises, it needs immediate attention. If a wheelchair breaks or a student needs a device to allow them to communicate, they need it immediately. Safety equipment is routinely purchased on very short notice. If we have students having meltdowns, we can purchase reinforcement items to help calm and soothe the student within moments. These are all things that need immediate attention, not more government red tape. If the 81 Act passes, it will add another step in an already efficient process, which will create a greater delay in providing supports and services to our most needy children. This will potentially open us up to unnecessary special education litigation due to the failure to implement IEP services in a timely manner. I do not see one single benefit to the special education department or the school system from the passage of the 81 Act. I strongly plead with you to consider the impact this act would have on our students with disabilities. And I invite you to reach out to me personally. If you'd like to discuss this in greater detail, I'll be happy to talk to each and every one of you. Thank you for your time and consideration in this very, very important issue.
Thank you, Mr. Eric. Next, we have Ms. Kelsey Scudder.
I'm not nearly as eloquently spoken as Eric is, but some of you may know me, some of you may not. I'm the lead nurse for the school system. And most of you do not know the chronic conditions that we care for in our schools. We have students who are diabetic. We have students who require daily packing. We have students that we do wound care for daily. These all require supplies. I can't tell you how many times I have had to drop in a hat, drop in our finance department and say, hey, I need these supplies. For this student to be able to stay at school today, these supplies are absolutely necessary. I need to go grab this real quick. They've been able to process those purchase orders for me within hours. For a student with a chronic health condition, us as nurses, our job is to allow them to normally function throughout their day and participate at school. You add more steps into this purchase order process, which I believe will happen if this is enacted, we are not going to be able to do what we need to do for these students. I think it is so important that you keep that in mind whenever you make your choices, that this is not going to affect just one person. This is going to affect our whole student body. So please keep that in mind. Please think about the process that this will go through, the changes in our finance department. I work very closely every single day with our finance department on teaching CPR classes, getting supplies for our students. If we pull our finance department to a completely different part of the community, that's me chasing another person down in the day. So please think about these things whenever you're getting ready to vote on this.
Thank you, Ms. Kelsey. Next, we have Ms. Kim White.
White. I'm proud to say that I'm the federal bookkeeper of the Smith County Board of Education. I would like for you to take a good look at those people back there. Those people are my co-workers, my friends, my family, people that I can trust. We work hard every day to ensure that the teachers and staff at each school, and most importantly, the students have what they need to get the best education they can get. We're not perfect, but we work hard and are dedicated at what we do. My office is in the same building as those people back there. Our system of finance has worked for years. It is working, and it will continue to work if you don't change those. Your move to centralized financing would dissolve my job, as well as others at the Smith County Board of Education. At your last meeting, you were told that no one would lose their job. Mr. Huff, I believe it was you that asked that question twice. You were told no very quickly, and then that subject was changed. Later in that same meeting, Mr. Rogers stated that ideally, your bookkeepers are just going to be moved to a central location. Now, the word ideally means in an ideal world, in the best possible way, and perfectly. The opposite of that word is reality. My husband uses the song by Alan Jackson, Here in the Real World, a lot with my grown girls. That's what we're living in, reality. We have to be real about what's taking place here. The facts are that my job and others would be dissolved of. 16 years in the school system. Vacation time, sick time, salary, and insurance changes to the new employer. No one in this room can assure me that I will have a job. That would be up to the financial director, which has not been hired yet. If that person did what they were hired to do, they're going to look at how many people the budget can support, how many people are needed to complete the work, and work details for each of those people. Now, I'm very confident that you will need me, payroll bookkeeper, the general purpose bookkeeper, and the school nutrition bookkeeper to make a changeover a success. We do things every day that the county bookkeepers and staff would not have a clue about because it's not the same work. We have the knowledge and know-how you need to make a transition easy. Have you thought about how we feel about moving us to another place? Everyone in this building that has a job, you chose it and you applied for it. You probably will decide when you leave it. That should be the same for me. I hope that you're not going to make that change for the bookkeepers. You know, Mr. Rogers also told you that the last county you recall changing over was losing all three of their bookkeepers. It was a great time. This is not a great time. Why the urgency now? Same thing for Cannon County. It's a great time.
Next is Miss Angel Williams.
Good evening. Thank you all for the opportunity to come speak to you. And thank you very much for the job that you do for Smith County. I know it's not easy to make some very tough decisions. I am currently the elementary supervisor of instruction, which is overseeing pre-K through 8th grade. My background is working in Title I school, Barnesville Elementary, as the principal. I started out as a teacher at Barnesville High School. And then I moved into the federal programs for 6 years, and I'm currently now the supervisor of instruction for those elementary schools. My question mainly about all of this, because I was not current to this act, is why. And I'm not really sure if I've got that answer yet on why. I want to know why this has become a recommendation after it's been around for 42 years. Why now? What's the urgency? Why only 26 out of 95 districts have fully gone to this act? It is so great. My understanding is most of those were under financial distress, and we are not. So why the urgency for us to do this now? I wanted to explain to you my why. My why is not in this room, even though everyone in here is important. I have 3,000 whys. There are approximately 3,000 students at Smith County. And I think anyone who's ever worked with me would tell you wholeheartedly that's why I do what I do every day. And I just have not heard a why as to how it's going to help my 3,000 lives. Dr. Johnson gave me this, with federal programs, it's a moving target. It's quick moving, and just 2 weeks ago, he was given one day that we had to spend $75,000 with an allocated budget approved by the State Department to be allocated. Because of the efficiency of our office and being able to move those things along, the state approved that, it was all done in a day. So, I just don't know that that's going to be able to continue to happen. And it hurts my heart 100% to know that my 3,000 lives might be sacrificed because of something that's personal or political or something that's against one or two people. I don't know because I haven't heard the why. So before you vote this, I would just appreciate with my whole heart if you would think about my 3,000 lives. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Next, Christy Glover.
So after coming to the special call meeting last month, and hear Mr. Rogers' explanation of why he thinks this is a good thing, I'm just gonna use his same words. So first of all, he said no one's gonna lose their job. How is that possible? They have a CFO, we have a CFO, somebody's gonna lose a job. Somebody has to lose a job. And then that finance director will be in charge of hiring whoever or rehiring whoever they choose. We can't guarantee that nobody's gonna lose a job. He said that this will make things less political. How do you take multiple jobs and give an appointed position that much power and call it less political? When asked why Putnam County has not adopted this 81 Act, his response was, well, we are blessed to have a great mayor. In a recent podcast, Mr. Rogers stated there's always 3 questions he would want to know the answer to before he spends any money. What is this going to cost us? What is our current debt capacity? And can we afford it in the future? So let me ask you, can anyone tell me what this is actually going to cost the county? What are the initial costs? Where are these funds going to come from? What's the ongoing cost? Where are those funds going to come from? The county's now going to take on hiring a new finance director and at least 40 bookkeepers, if things were to happen. Do you know the people's salary? Do we know what that is? Do we know what it's going to cost? Where's that money going to come from? What are the logistics? Again, Mr. Rogers said the benefit is having one place for his office to go to. Where are you going to put it? Where's the funds going to come from? 2 more statements that Mr. Rogers made. This will not really have an effect on the school system employees, as well as the central finance department would take over writing the grant. That's where I absolutely have to disagree with them. For this committee to think that this will not have an effect on the school system and that anyone's not going to lose their job is just wrong. I ask if any of you actually know the job of either bookkeepers at the county offices or our offices. Do you actually know what they do? Do you know how vital they are to the supervisors at our office? Are you aware of the county's bookkeepers? They don't even allow requisitions after May 15th outside of emergency. A full 6 weeks before the fiscal year ends. Our school system, the last day of school this year, summer school, was June 30th. I wrote more than 50 requisitions between May 15th and June 30th. My bookkeepers were able to handle that just fine. Our bookkeepers work so hard, they manage twice the payroll and twice the budget, and to put them under this amount of stress without actually having a plan for what this is going to do, it's just sad.
Thank you, Ms. Christie. Next is Director Barry Smith.
First of all, thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight. I understand the format, so I don't normally speak this way, so I'm gonna try to make sure I get my facts in. Can everybody hear me back there good? Okay, all right. First of all, I'm here, this is what the call was, set up on my heart, I wasn't going to speak, but I felt like you need to hear me. I'll go home and sleep fine tonight, either way when I get done, once I do that. As you know, we're the biggest employer in the county. School system touches everybody in one manner, either as an employee, as a child, as a grandchild, or somebody working. I tell you this negative to lead you into something. Myself personally, I've been lied about. My family's been lied about. My salary's been told it's $270,000, $240,000, $158,000. Those of you that have come and seen my W-2s are welcome to get them. I'll hand them out. I'd be happy for everybody in here to get them, so that we know the truth. You're also, in my opinion, being misled on the suggestion of the best practice selection. Only 26 out of 95 counties are doing this. No one around us, to my knowledge, other than Cannon's going to it. If it's so efficient, why did Wilson County receive a lifetime exemption from it? Bob Dillard, I got your permission before it started. You was in there when they done the exemption. You had to go to the bank 2 months in a row to get your paycheck. Is that not true?
That's correct.
You wouldn't believe the systems and the teachers from other places that's reached out to us to ask us to stop this. I told them I didn't have the power. That lied in the hands of you guys. The comptroller Friday was calling county commissioners individually, which I would question the ethics of that. I don't understand the courage and the banner of that from your positions, but you chose to do that. And is this standard in other counties? Is this something that the comptrollers get involved in? I'd just like to know. We're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. Understand that. See if the other counties like us have been receiving this for about 42 years. By the way, I spoke a very influential state rep said there's a reason it wasn't mandated. It would never be mandated. I'd like to say this, if it's personal between me and the school board, I think it needs to be handled in a different manner. Don't take this out on children and teachers and other people. I want to say this, it's nothing against the people that end up doing this, but you're taking hundreds of years of experience and putting it in the hands of people that don't understand the teacher formula, that don't understand the grants. You're going to take millions of dollars out of Smith County hands and free money for the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Good evening. I want to thank Mayor Mason for allowing me to be number 11 before I finish my high school class. Political debate is oftentimes ripe for confusion and misunderstanding. Sometimes that's intentional, sometimes it's not. But I think some clarity on some of the legal issues might be helpful for everyone involved, and in a lot of ways, Eric, what your CTAS representative mentioned to me a couple of 3 weeks back. The Board of Education and the Smith County Commission are both independently created by statute, different functions and different roles. No one entity, and this has been talked about, no one entity is over or under another. You both have independent duties that you have to fulfill. You both have independent obligations that you have to take. There are some, as with any government, some controls, some checks and balances that you already have under your current budget system. But control and management of the local education system by law is vested with the Board of Education. Adoption of the 81 financial system is not going to change that. Yet that seems to be some of the motivation and some of the talk as to why this has reared its head. Right now, the County Commission has overall budget approval and approval of all the line item amendments. If you adopt the 81 Act, you will have the very same thing. You will not have, and I think it's important that the Commission looks as if you adopt this act, not necessarily what you're going to gain, but what you're not. You're not going to be able to do line item veto. You're not going to be able to decide this expenditure versus that. That's not what this act would do. The only authority, again, is what you have under the 57 Act, is to reject the budget as a whole, which again, you have that as you sit here right now. So what do you gain if that adoption comes, is basically a new, very expensive department that we know very little about at this point in time. There's been no cost study. There's been no personnel study as to how it's going to impact. And I'd also, getting short on time, but I'd like the commission to focus on what it's not heard during the very limited deliberations that you've been able to have. You keep hearing the word efficiency. I've not heard that it's inefficient. Where is it? Anybody come to this commission and said the county system is inefficient, much less the school board system is inefficient. There's been no specific facts related to you as to how this is going to be more efficient. There is no reason under the particular system that creating a whole new department without proper study and proper guidance would have. I appreciate your time. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Winkler. All right, that concludes the public comment portion of our meeting. Next item, number 6, is the approval of the minutes of the August 14th and September 12th meeting. Motion approved, Casey, second Connor McDonald. I have a motion and a second. Any discussions or clarifications? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Item number 7 is announcements. First item is the election of District 3 Commissioner for the seat vacancy for Ms. Michaela. At this time, you have a letter from Lynn Brown in there. Ms. Lynn is here. Would you like to speak on your letter, or you don't have to? You got the letter. Is there anyone else here that would like to be considered tonight?
Jason Laker, District 5, actually put my name on this.
Oh, okay.
Number 2.
Sorry, you're right, I missed you, I skipped right over you. Jason, come on up, my bad.
Good evening, I'm Jason Laker, I live in District 5, and I spoke with several county commissioners over the weekend. I appreciate you answering your phone calls, county mayor as well, late at night. And as y'all know, the state of Tennessee has multiple acts that they could adopt as far as how to manage the funds. 25 out of 95 counties, or possibly 26. I was looking at one of the letters that the comptroller put out on the website, and it talks about the different counties and which adoption that they use. There were 9 counties that were awarded the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for excellence in financial reporting. 2 of those counties have adopted the 1981 Act. So my question is, that's not, why is that not a prerequisite for that award? Also, there's a TCA code 5-21124. Commissioner of Education may remove the school department if records are not maintained properly and timely. That's one of the last comments that's made in that act. So why is that? I don't necessarily know the answer to that. I think I could allude to an opinion as to why. I've also heard different folks talk about the finances of the education department. As most of you know, they're extremely strong. They went from $1.5 million in surplus to over $15 million. And when I've looked at the audit reports from the comptroller that's out there on the website, I was looking through some of them last night. When you look at Smith County, you also see the Board of Education recognized in there, and you see the remarks, the findings and remarks, and I might add that both reports are fairly good. The education should be commended, and I think you all know that, for the financial position that they are currently in. And I know how that looks appealing to the county, because if those financials were recognized within your financials from a lender when it comes to a bond perspective, it allows you to borrow money at a cheaper rate. But I'm a commercial lender, and when I loan millions of dollars to an entity, I look at global financial cash flow and analysis, regardless of who the borrower is or not. If you have another entity that's positively impacting or negatively impacting the borrower, I take that into consideration. You have an education department that is not negatively impacting your financials.
I do feel like, as Randy Glover alluded to, that this may be a little bit rushed. The 1981 Act is something to consider, and I understand some of the benefits from it. But I think there are more commissioners, there's been a lot of commissioners that have done a lot of research over the past few days, but I think there may be a little bit more research that needs to be done before you make a decision. Thank you.
All right, next, we will move on to the election of District 3. Ms. Lynn Brown has a letter. Is there anyone else here that would like to be considered for nomination for District 3? I'm not seeing it, so at this time, I would take a motion to nominate Ms. Lynn Brown. Motion. Second. Any other nominations? Seeing none, I would take a motion that nomination cease and should be elected by acclamation.
So moved.
All right. Second. Second, Tommy Bang. All right, a motion is second to elect her by acclamation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Ms. Lynn, come up, we'll get you sworn in. Solemnly swear that I will perform with fidelity the duties of the office to which I have been elected and I am about to assume. I do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of Tennessee and the United States, to faithfully perform the duties of County Commissioner representing the 3rd District of Smith County, Tennessee. So help me God. All right. Next, in your package, you have an update from the Smith County Highway Department. Mickey is here if you have any questions for him. All right, seeing none. Ms. Erica wanted to update us on the Keep Smith County Beautiful activities next week.
I just want to let everybody know that we're having a community cleanup day on October 17th, Tuesday during fall break. So it is family friendly. It's good for those volunteer hours or those voluntold hours. Either way, you sign off on them. And we meet here at the Ag Center at 9 a.m. There's light breakfast provided. There will be lunch provided. We go out to the community, we clean up different areas of the community, litter pickup, we do education for the youth, and it's a good time. And love to have anybody out that wants to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Erica. All right. Next item is number 8 is amendments to the agenda and the approval of the agenda. One thing I have is resolution number 10. It is the community correction committee appointment for next year. And also we were handed the BOE's financial statement. And there's some policy changes that have edits on those. Any other amendments or amendments to the agenda? All right, seeing none, I would take a motion to
approve.
Motion approved, Tommy Baines, second, Van Enier. Any other questions or discussion? All right, seeing none, we will vote. All those in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. All right, let's move on to number 9, the county mayor's report. First of all, we want to congratulate Miss Lydia Gregory, Commissioner. She passed her bar exam on Friday, so congratulations. Nobody be scared. There's 3 lawyers in a row. And one here, so. Yeah. All right. One thing I want to mention is kind of near and dear to my heart. My pink tie says tonight, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Being the spouse of one of the 1 in 8 women that get breast cancer, I urge every woman here tonight to get your mammograms. Early detection helps us in our case. So just wanted to touch base on that since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I do have a meeting this week. The state ECD rolled out some new grants through broadband. One of those is possible for remodeling the courthouse. Some of the requirements for that would be to make a room available for Wi-Fi where somebody wanted to come and work or study. They would have access to free Wi-Fi. Also, a room would have to be dedicated to doing health screenings basically once a month. And then maybe a room on the second floor for local businesses that wanted to come in and train their employees. We would have that. That's kind of that. It's up to $2 million with a 20% match. So we will get started on that this week. And then there's also another $100,000 grant out there for promoting broadband connectivity. Next week, the bluff over here, the east side from the bridge east to what I call Quick and Easy, the old Quick and Easy, will be closed down. TDOT's going to come in and try to remove going to remove some of those leaning trees. So their plan is, they did it during fall break too, so just, if the weather's good, they can probably knock that out in less than a week and it won't be shut down. The bridge will not be closed. You'll still be able to go that way. South Carthage will go, if you're coming from that direction, you'll go across the new bridge and that way. So just wanted to update you on that. Thank you, Erica, for reminding me about that. So, all right, that's all I got tonight. In your package, you have your financial reports, your year-end financial reports on that. Any questions for Daisy on financial reports? All right, item number 10 you have before you is your committee reports. We will move on to number 11, new business. For approvals, you have policies. Nepotism policy, bereavement leave, Title VI compliance, inclement weather conditions, and travel policy. Motion approved. All of them? All of them. Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Fields to group them all together, and a second from Commissioner Elrod. Any questions or discussions on these policies? Seeing none, I will take a motion to approve. Or I'll take a vote for yes or no. Sorry. All those in favor? Aye. Tongue tied there. All right. Opposed? All right. That is done. All right. Item B is a letter of receipt from the Tennessee Comptroller of Treasury Office for the fiscal year 2024 budget. That is for your presentation. All right. We will move on to item C, resolutions. All right, resolution 10-2301 are your general fund budget amendments. That is on page 69 of your package. Resolution 10-2302 is the drug enforcement fund budget amendments. Resolution 3 is the solid waste fund 207 amendments. Resolution 4 is the general fund budget amendments, and for the sheriff's department, and item 5 is for the EMS department.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, motion to group and approve all. All right, have a motion and a second to group and approve all. Any questions or discussions on these amendments? All right, seeing none, we will do a roll call. Ms. Stacy.
Lydia Gregory,
Yes.
Helen Bose,
Yes.
Terry Gibbons,
Yes.
Billy Bass,
Yes.
Greta Kirby,
Yes.
Charles Kent,
Yes.
Ian Brown,
Lynn?
Yes.
Scotty Barrett,
Yes.
Matt Inyard,
Yes.
Erica Eagle,
Yes.
Cordell Smith,
Yes.
Danny Irizarry,
Yes.
Stephen Leish,
Yes.
Eddie Stout,
Yes.
Casey Elrod,
Yes.
Justin Malden,
Yes.
Barry Cahoon,
Yes.
Tommy Bain,
Yes.
Junior Fields,
Yes.
Connor McDonald,
Yes.
Tim Beller,
Yes.
Danny Huff,
Yes.
Thank you. All right, resolution 10-2306 is the naming of a bridge on Difficult Road in the middle of Oscar and Cape Kemp. At this time, I would take a motion to approve that bridge naming.
Motion approved.
Motion approved, Stephen Lynch, second. Terry Gibbons. I have a motion and a second to approve that bridge dedication. Any questions or discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, item number 7 is the resolution 10-2307, and it's appointment of members to the Smith County Board of Zoning Appeals. It will be, Tim Beller and Eddie Dale Sykes will be going on to the Board of Zoning Appeal. We've had some hiring over the years that had to fill those slots. At this time, I'll take a motion to approve that resolution.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve Casey, second. Second, Mr. Cordell. I have a motion and second approving those appointments. All right, any questions or discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They are appointed. Thank you. All right, item number 8 is the resolution 10-2308. It is the appointment of member to the Smith County Planning Commission, and that reappoints Eddie Pascal and Jeff Shoulders. I take a motion to approve that resolution. Motion approved, Matt Henry, second, Lee Gregory. I have a motion and a second on resolution 08. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Item number 10 is the Community Corrections Partners Committee. This is one that we started in February, I believe it was, and then we said we would reappoint in the first meeting of the year. So that is tonight. So at this time, I would take a motion to approve that committee. Motion to approve. Second? Second, Case Earl. I have a motion and a second to approve that committee. Any questions or discussions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, item number D is a list of notaries. Before you, you have a list of notaries. I would take a motion to approve. Motion to approve. Steve Lish, second, Junior Fields. I have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions or discussions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Moving on to item number 12, other business, is resolutions 10-2309, the resolution to adopt the county financial management system of 1981. Mr. Jason Mumpower had asked me for the opportunity to call in and talk to you guys tonight, so let me get him on the phone. We don't have a mic working, so this may be tough. Hello, Mr. Comptroller, how are you? Good. All right, we've got a small problem. Our microphones are decided not to work tonight, so you're gonna have to talk really loud. I'll put a speakerphone. I'm trying to listen where they can hear you. All right, you are ready, sir. Can everybody hear you? Thank you, sir. You all move on to your tenure. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. I'm not sure where the Wrong. All right, gentlemen. All right, we will let you introduce yourself.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the County Commission. Citizens of Smith County, I'm very sorry all y'all could not hear Comptroller Mumpower on the phone there, but my name's Jim Arnett. I'm the Director of the Division of Local Government Audits in the Comptroller's Office. And I brought with me this evening Mr. Brian Berkman. Brian is our Assistant Director over our County Finance and Compliance Audits, and Mr. Jeff Bailey. Jeff is our Middle Tennessee Audit Manager who's actually responsible for the Smith County audit. But we were asked to attend tonight to speak about centralized financial management. And I know that you have previously heard from CTAS about centralization. But this evening, I'd like to give you a little more background and certainly be available to answer any questions that you might have. And we certainly appreciate the opportunity to be able to meet with you and to discuss the possible adoption by Smith County of a centralized financial management model. And right now, there's two centralization models that are in state statute. You've got the 1957 Physical Controls Act, which you currently operate under, and then the County Financial Management Act of 1981. And then there's also a couple of counties that have passed a private act that provides for complete centralization of accounting functions. And as many of you know, here in Smith County, we've been including a centralization recommendation for many years in your audit reports regarding the lack of a central system of accounting, budgeting, and purchasing. And as part of that recommendation, we have been recommending that the county adopt the 81 Act or a private act. And we've made that same recommendation in every county across the state that's not centralized. And I've heard some numbers that were thrown out this evening about centralization. There's actually currently 31 counties in Tennessee that are totally centralized. You got 25 of those counties that operate under the 81 Act. You got 3 counties that are totally centralized that are operating under the 57 Act. And then you got a couple of counties, which are Murray and Sullivan County, which have recently adopted private acts to centralize. And then you've got Knox County, that is a charter form of government that provides for centralization. So our recommendation to centralize is just that. It's a recommendation. It's not a mandate. And but it's a recommendation that's based on best practice as well as on practices that we have determined through our experience to be beneficial to improving internal controls and operating efficiency. Now, when considering an upgrade to Smith County's financial management system, we encourage you to think in terms of not what's best for any individual or any individual department, but what's best for the county as a whole. Because the county needs to be sure that you're going to remain in a position to continue to meet the changing demands of county government and to implement the complex financial reporting standards that are required by the Government Accounting Standards Board, or GASB as it's referred to. So a new central finance department and a financial management committee under the 81 Act, or again a private act, is going to operate independently from the general government, the highway department, and the schools. And this should enable decisions to be made from the perspective of what's best for Smith County. But here's some things to consider when you're talking about centralization. Centralization is going to eliminate the duplication of services. Right now, you've got accounting functions being performed in the finance department for the county mayor's office and the highways, and then the school department is operating autonomously. So you got 2 sets of books, you got 2 accounting systems, you got 2 payroll systems, you got 2 entities that are doing purchasing. You have one central finance office that's focusing on all the financial matters of the county. It will allow each department to concentrate on doing their thing. Schools can concentrate on educating students. The highway department can concentrate on maintaining the county's roads. The mayor can concentrate on the operations of the general government. Now, as I mentioned, GASB is the standard-setting board of government accounting and reporting. And GASB is going to continue to issue new standards, and those standards are increasing in complexity. But we found that GASB standards are typically easier to implement in centralized counties. There should be improved reporting and access to information in a centralized environment. It should be easier to produce and access financial reports and supporting documentation, since all the information is centrally filed and maintained. So all interested parties, from the commission to county officials to the media to private citizens, you should all have easier access to information. And then there's going to be technology advantages, such as only needing to support one accounting system instead of one in the current finance office and one at the school department. All your financial data is going to be stored in a central location, which will make the backup of data and disaster recovery planning easier, which means your county data should be more secure. Here are some misconceptions of centralization. And I've heard some of the folks that were speaking during the public comment time mention some of these. But one of those misconceptions relates to employees. Centralization is not about getting rid of employees. At least initially, you typically don't see a decrease in staff. Staff performing accounting functions in the current finance department and in the schools would be consolidated into a central unit. However, over time and through attrition, the county may very well see that there's a need for fewer employees. Another misnomer is that cost savings resulting from centralization can be readily identified. You know, it's very difficult to determine monetary savings from the implementation of practices that are and procedures that improve internal controls and efficiency and effectiveness of operations. You typically see those kind of savings over time. As also was said earlier, there may very well be some startup costs, such as having to pay a qualified finance director. There could be costs associated with moving staff into a central location, which may include leasing or remodeling office space and purchasing furniture and equipment. But in the big picture, those costs are really minimal. And I've heard tonight complaints that centralization will slow down processes such as purchasing. This shouldn't happen. There's a lot of advantages to centralized purchasing, such as reduced cost of goods and greater leverage over supply. Some people will say, well, we're going to lose control of our departments. Not true. Individual departments will not lose control of their operations. The county mayor, the school superintendent, the highway superintendent will all be members of the financial management committee that's required with centralization. So they'll have a say in all financial matters. And this was something else I heard about grants. Schools can continue to apply for grants. That's not going to change under centralization. So nothing's going to change in these departments other than their day-to-day financial responsibilities. But in closing my remarks, adopting the 81 Act or a private act would certainly be an opportunity for Smith County to upgrade your financial management. But in the comptroller's office, we certainly understand the realities of making such a move, because there is always an inherent resistance to change. So everybody needs to agree that now's the time to make such a move, because the two things that will doom the adoption of a new financial management model is putting someone in charge of your new finance department that's not qualified. And then the other, even more devastating issue would be the failure of all the departments to work together to make this a successful transition. So with that, that concludes my remarks. We'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
I have a question. Okay, so what about if we say we vote, say the vote passes, what happens if the school board threatens to no longer write grants like they have been? Because that only hurts the county, not helps. So what can be done about that?
You say, if they can't write grants, well, they can.
They can, they won't. That's the question. Or if they don't.
Well, then it would be the responsibility of someone in the finance department, whether that's an employee transfer from the schools or someone else that's hired from the school.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? What is the will of the body?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to table this and to have a meeting with the county school board, like we originally had talked about. They're here tonight. I think we can set a meeting tonight. They're all here, so everybody's schedule can be looked at, and I think that that's what we need to do at this time.
Is there a second to table this?
I should do that.
All right, we got a second from Eddie Stover. All right. Just do a roll call. Is there any discussion on the motion to table this?
If this was taken into consideration and passed, nothing changes over time. There is an implementation process for this that takes time. It is not immediate, and it will be with all the stakeholders that it affects. I'm not sure until we went through implementation, until the financial management committee said, until certain decisions were made, what things we were trying to hash out and figure out as far as processes and stuff, you know. That's just my thoughts. I mean, until we get down the road, we don't know, but I assume the purpose of the implementation process is to work together and answer those questions and figure out how those things are going to come to fruition, employment, where they're going to be, and those things. Typically, before a county passes this, they have all those questions answered.
I don't know that they've got every question answered, but once you vote that in, you need to buy in for everybody to work forward, work together, and work forward to make it successful.
Mr. Mayor, can I respond to that?
Sure.
When this initially started, it started with a misunderstanding on the financial statement from the school board of one person's salary. That's where we started. We asked for a meeting. We gave 3 dates, and the dates didn't coincide with the schedules or whatever it was. They come back with a date, and then we just started moving this direction. This did not start as us going to 1981 Act. It started as a, I'll say it for lack of a better word, a witch hunt on somebody's salary. It needs to be discussed. We need to have the meeting that we initially, everybody unanimously across the board, we all asked for a meeting. We need to have the meeting.
Any other discussion? Yes, sir,
I
Mr. Tyler.
totally agree with that. Since I've been on this commission 4 years, I've had more calls, people talking to me about this one matter than I have everything else since I've been on the commission in the past 4 years. And it's been running about 3 to 1 not to do it. To leave it like it is, because we've got a pretty good surplus from what I've been told, what the school board has got, and people that have talked to me about this, why fix something if it ain't broke? And it seems one other thing, and I want to say this, and I don't mean to hurt nobody's feelings. This has been nothing but a sham from day one to try to round this through with 4 or 5 of the commissioners, instead of you calling a special meeting. The text I got, you said a few of the commissioners wanted a special meeting called.
Yes.
And I think, and like a lot of the other people that's talked to me about it, that should have been your job.
I did call a meeting. When they asked
Yeah,
me.
you called it after they asked you to do it.
Right.
That's what you said.
I served at the will
Why
of
did
this
you
body.
have to call one when we meet every month, either in the steering committee or our regular meeting? Why couldn't have this been brought up at that time?
Mr. Eddie, if you want to call a meeting for next week, we can do
No,
that.
I don't want to call a meeting like that. I think it should be done when we're all here together, if somebody wants to do it.
Okay.
This is a shame.
Okay.
I will say one other thing.
Absolutely.
I ain't got one thing against anybody in here. I've got nothing against anybody that's been back here that spoke. And while I'm talking to you, if you can't get this speaking system fixed where people can hear, I can't hardly hear myself, let alone those people back there. I've got a good speaking system at my auction, and I could bring it and set it up for you. And be glad to, and I wouldn't charge nobody to do it.
Okay. We'll do that
It
next
sounds like a whisper from where I'm sitting, and I know those folks back there can't hear nothing.
Okay, well, next time we may holler at you.
Well, do it.
Okay, yep, well, you're on.
They ain't no need to, there's no need to pray after the devil's done been there.
All right, we'll meet me over here that morning, we'll get it set. All right, any other discussion?
So, I know we've got, 4 or 5 guys here. Is there anything, I know y'all travel a long way, and I know, he got to speak. Is there anything that, I know Ben and, y'all spoke, but is there anything that y'all need to express to the body here? We're all just good, I say we're all just, everybody in this room is good old country people. We just want to do what's right for Smith County. And it's not a slap in the face or whatever. We're going to be dead and gone for long. So I'm looking at it, what is best for us as Smith Countyans when nobody even knows my name? But is there anything that y'all can, they had a lot of great points, and I know Ben's had a lot of great points talking. I know the comp controller, when he called, had a lot of great points. But is there anything else that y'all could add to this before?
Well, I think Jim covered just about everything we wanted to say. The one thing I would add is something that one of I think the last speaker said, is that the statute, it doesn't change Title 49. The school board, the director of school still has the same authority over the school department they ever had. So if they're worried about losing power, they're not going to lose it. If there are any commissioners that think that they're going to gain power over the schools by doing this, that statute doesn't change either. You've got the same responsibilities and statutes you've always had. So it's not about authority over one department or another by one of the boards. They're set in statute, all the responsibilities and authorities. So I think, everything Jim said about the financial departments being separate, it's all about maintaining the records and doing the purchasing from a central location. It's not about the authority over the budget any more than you've got now. It's not about running the schools from the commission. The school board's not going to lose any authority over operating schools either.
Could maybe you answer a couple of questions that some of our school teachers are, it was concerning to me hearing a few of the scares that they're feeling. What about the federal bookkeeper? Is that going to be dissolved like she says it is?
The federal bookkeeper?
I think that's what Ms. White said. She's a federal bookkeeper, and that her position is going to be dissolved. Is that one of them that?
All the bookkeepers that are necessary to run the schools would be transferred under that central system of the county. You don't want to get rid of the people that know how to run the schools, how to maintain the records.
What about far as the nurses concerned of some kids that might need that wound care? Is that a thing that y'all seen in the past that could be a 911?
Purchasing should work just as efficiently, if not more so than it does now. There should be no change in procuring goods and services.
Under emergency medical treatment, I'm assuming we would have emergency purchase policies that would not require a requisition or emergency order. Is that correct?
Yes. We have, under our, we have one now.
It'd be,
You would take and merge those policies or.
Mr. Rogers, it was maybe mentioned in there that when Canyon County went to the 81 Act, they fully implemented it a couple of years ago, that there were staff that lost their jobs. Is that the case over there in Canyon County?
As far as I know, no one lost their job in Canyon County unless they didn't want to work. There was a couple people that hesitated to come over, and they eventually came over. No one has to lose their job. That's not the intent of it. That's not set up. No one, everybody can come over, or the school systems can decide to keep the current employees under the school system and put in the budget, and the finance office will find new employees to do those functions. So there's no intent. Canyon County, you can call them, unless somebody just decide not to come to the board of, or the finance office. No one from the Board of Education lost their job.
And when we moved to the 57 Act back in 2017, during that process, that was partial centralization, did anybody in this county lose their job?
Does the county pick up the 4 positions that the board says that they have when we come over? Do we pick those 4 salaries up? Because I was told we pick those up.
I know, and I wasn't here, so Daisy might be able to explain how that worked when they did the 57.
They're paid through the general fund.
Pay to the general fund, so the board has not, ain't got to pay them no more, right? If it goes over, they have no responsibility to pay them anymore. That's why I think
Now, when they did it last time, the highway and the landfill pitched in money to offset some of those salaries.
But there's no requirement.
No requirement, no. They did that out of their own free will.
What about benefits for these employees? It would be the county benefits at that point in time instead of the school board benefits, is that correct?
When we went 57, the highway department had a different insurance, for example. Those employees were able to keep their exact same benefits because the idea behind it was that the employees would not be hurt in any way.
So how would they do that under our system? How would they be able to keep that if they're not working for the school board?
Because the county commission approved, I mean, you're asking about them, I can tell you from 57. The county
Right.
commission approved that, so that's what happened.
Y'all say that, and I just got a message from a teacher actually. They want to know, would it cut jobs or not? And y'all keep saying should or typically doesn't. The truth is, y'all can't say whether it will or not. That would be up to the board once it's appointed. Is that correct?
We have no say in what you all do.
Right.
I can tell you what other counties have done, and that's what we spoke about last month. I was giving you a reference to what other counties have done. And what other counties have done is not cut jobs. So I'm not sure where that side of it came from.
Well, because these employees are scared that they're going to lose their job because maybe they don't want to come over to the county side.
And so there was a county that had a couple of employees that did not want to go to the finance office. So the school system kept paying them and gave them another responsibility within the school system.
Right.
That's up to the school board and the county commission who's funding the budget. They're the funding body, and they can decide, we're going to fund this many employees, we can add this, whatever y'all want to do. School board and county commission, that's up to y'all. I'm telling you from the experience I've had, dealing with 4 counties and 81 acres. That's where this came from. I'm not here to tell you if you should or shouldn't. On that slide last month, it said, the comptroller's recommendation said you should go to 81 acres. Ben Rogers didn't say that.
Yes.
Ben Rogers is a county government consultant, the County Technical Assistance Service, and he has no regulatory authority over Smith County or any other county. I'm here to advise and give you what we know based on law and what our experience is. I was here to present with Wesley, and that's all we were asked to do. I didn't come and tell you to do it.
That's correct. And I was asking the panel, I looked in your direction, but I was asking the panel as a whole.
I know, I just
It
feel
is
like,
up to the.
I feel like there's been some things that, I don't know where some of it came from, but I'm not regulatory. These 3 gentlemen right here are.
Yes.
I'll just add, CTAS is a proponent of centralization as well, so we would encourage you to vote to go to the 81 Act. Just point blank, we think it's, just as Jim said, we think it's good for everybody in the county. Do those employees have to come over to the finance office? No, but the schools are gonna have to create a position for them that is not a financial position. They can't keep financial positions. Those would all come to the finance office. So if those folks say, hey, we don't want to go, the schools will create a position over there and give them duties to do that are not financial duties.
Real quick, I got a question for you, sir. You said earlier that one of the reasons for failure, that this could fail would be if all departments wasn't on board with it. Well, we obviously have the school board not on board with it. So is that gonna cause it to fail if we voted in?
Well, it depends on what happens after it's voted, once it's decided. And that's what I've always said is to, hash it out beforehand. But then once that, even if you're against it, once that vote's taken, you do everything you can to make things work. Because you're working for the county, you're working for, the citizens at that point.
So that would even correlate more with my motion to, let's table this and have a meeting. Would you agree with that?
Well, I mean, that's up to you all. Where you think you need to be. I will say that I've been, Wesley and I were in a meeting that was, just like this, same type of questions, same type of allegations, and they ended up voting for it. I think it was about a week later, they voted to adopt, and, 8 months later, the director of schools told me it was the best thing that ever happened to them. So, we've heard that before, and to answer a question that Ben answered a while ago, I have never seen a person lose a job based on centralization in the years I've been.
Do you happen to know how many times a school board has sued a county over adopting this act? Has it ever happened?
Have sued them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Well, there's one county that operates under the 81 Act, that's Wilson County, where the schools are not under the centralization, under the finance office. And that happened years and years ago, and I'm not sure exactly what all the issues were there. There's 2 other counties that operate under the 81 Act that have petitioned the Department of Education to come out from under centralization. It's Cumberland County and Giles County. The Department of Education denied that request in both cases. So I'm aware of Wilson County and then Cumberland and Giles. There's those 3 counties.
Okay. And then, obviously, everybody knows attorneys are expensive. Like $200, $800, $1,500 an hour, drafting lawsuits. I'm just checking.
Well, there's a provision in the act for that appeal. I don't know that it's considered a lawsuit.
Okay, but a lawsuit would only waste county funds, correct? Especially multiple. Okay, thank you.
I don't know how to ask this. Regulatorily, I deal with things regulatorily. Is there anything that's coming down from accounting, auditing, like we have to deal with SOX compliance, which is becoming a nightmare to industry? Is there things like that that are coming down on the governmental side that's going to make it easier to handle audits and things that may be coming down the road, or is because it's centralized?
There's things coming down the road that are going to make it harder to keep financial records and to audit. You've got the Federal Data Act coming, and so the records are going to have to be maintained in a certain way and reported to the federal government. Anybody that receives federal funds. But I don't know of anything that gets easier about it.
Mr. Stafford?
I want to ask you guys, and you may not know the answer to this, and forgive me for getting upset a while ago, but anyway, the counties that have adopted this, do you have any idea what their qualified director, finance director would cost them, what it costs? And you all may not know the answer to that.
It would be up to the Financial Management Committee to determine.
I understand it'd be up to them to pay, but I'm just saying, do you have any idea what some
I
of
will
the
tell
counties
you
use?
that I mentioned the private act a few times. And we have worked with a few counties to adopt a private act that allows them to kind of tailor their centralization to maybe what works best for their county. And in that private act, we have said that the finance director should not make less than the county trustee.
Less than what?
The county trustee.
I have two counties that the finance director actually makes less than the trustee. Canyon County started out in 1920, whenever it was implemented, at 70,000. And then Fitchers County, his salary is at 80% of what the trustee's salary is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And y'all are under the 57 Act now, and that act ties that position to the trustee's salary as well. So,
Any other questions or discussion?
I think one of the important questions that's asked, and it's a good question, is if this is recommended by the comptroller's office every year, why haven't more counties gone to it? Generally, from y'all's experience, what's the resistance to it?
I think tonight we've seen why there's only 30-something states, or counties in the state that are centralized. I think through some misunderstandings maybe, it's a very hot political topic. And I think I said this a month ago. The school board thinks they're going to lose some authority, and maybe the commission thinks they're going to gain some authority, and neither one of those is true. The hope would be you'll find out efficiencies, which Jim mentioned earlier. It's just a best practice, and you should gain a lot of efficiencies by having one office. I think politics is why only 30-something counties are centralized in Tennessee, just to be honest with you.
Any other questions?
I just have a question. Are we still on the motion to table?
Yes, motion to table.
I don't have anything on the motion to table.
Well, if the motion is to table this, I mean, not saying that y'all not gonna come back and help, but just say, is there anything else that y'all wanna share with us? If this thing does get tabled, if we start going into different deliberations, what, is there anything, and y'all don't come back, I know you will if we need to, but I'm just saying, is there anything else y'all wanna share before this thing goes?
The only thing I would say is it's important for y'all to meet and have open discussion as a board, school board, and county commission. As a county commissioner, works with the school board all the time. I understand the importance of communication and transparency. If that happens, actually meet. Follow through with the expectation that you're going to sit down and talk to each other. Otherwise, it's.
And part of my motion is to set that meeting tonight. If the school board is willing to do that.
Can't we just have it right now? Like, we're all here. I mean, trying to make the difference out here.
I will leave that, I don't know that we can do that.
I don't think that.
I call the question as part of the vote on the motion.
Wrong question?
There's more information that needs to be made, $1 million amount, what's this gonna cost? Are we gonna take full floors, or we gonna pay, we gotta pay the finance director, we got the salaries, if we vote, then we gotta pay. We got more money in the budget, we got the budget squared. We was in a hole for a while, now we're straight, now we want to jump into something else, a lot of it costs us a lot more money to get going again.
Motion has been called to question. No roll call, Steve.
What's the vote?
Oh, the
Yes or
motion,
no?
the motion on the table, the vote is to table the, resolution 10-2309.
And to set a date today for a meeting.
Well, if you're gonna do that, you need to set a date.
Can we ask when that they would be available?
Sure.
Mr. Smith, this is your, this group. When can y'all meet?
When, Nathan, we've been trying to get a message to you guys, it's my fault. We're not going straight with you guys for 6 years. So we'll meet when it's good for you.
Well,
other than fall break.
We got fall break.
Well, not next week.
We may have more of a line if we do this.
When is our steering committee?
End of the month,
November 27th.
November 27th, next year.
Can we do it the 6th of November? A Monday.
We'll have to vote first.
They said they needed the date before we had the vote.
Well, you're voting to table it and set the date. Yeah, if you pass it, then you set the date?
That's fine.
Okay, so, all right.
What if we can agree on the date?
I'm gonna say stop the argument. Unless Jesus comes back, surely we can. And if he comes back, none of it matters. Y'all had it. Not yet. We're gonna set it, we're gonna get the motion to table. All right. Yes to table, no to carry on. That's it. You're voting on whether to table this tonight. And then if this passes, then you will set a meeting. Okay. Roll call, Stacy.
Lydia Gregory,
I have a lot to say, and I don't think I'm allowed to say it right now, so I'm just gonna abstain.
Helen Bose,
Yes.
Terry Gibbons,
Yes.
Billy Bass,
Yes.
Greta Kirby,
Yes.
Charles Kent,
No.
Lynn Brown,
Yes.
Scotty Barrett,
No.
Matt Junior,
No.
Erica Eagle,
No.
Cordell Smith,
No.
Danny Irizarry,
No.
Stephen Leish,
No.
Eddie Stout,
Yes.
Casey Elrod,
No.
Justin Malden,
No.
Barry Cahoon,
Yes.
Tommy Bain,
No.
Junior Fields,
Yes.
Connor McDonald,
No.
Tim Beller,
No.
Danny Huff,
No.
No, you don't want to table? So the motion to table fails by a vote of 13-8 and 1 abstention. All right, we are back on the resolution now. Is there a motion to approve, disapprove?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Okay. Is there a second? Second. Connor McDonald? All right. Motion and a second. All right, now we will go into discussion of these said motions.
I just have a few things I want to say. I know the last few weeks have been challenging for the commissioners. I know I've taken many calls from upstanding people in our community who I have a lot of respect for. I've taken calls from people who are for the 81 Act and against it. And this has not been a very easy decision for me. Now, I want to say that for me, this decision has nothing to do with the school board. And what I mean by that is I've had a chance to meet some school board members, and the ones that I've met and talked to and gotten to know a little bit, okay, I have no issues with them, any of them. This is not about Mr. Smith in my mind, to me. I don't even know Mr. Smith. What this is about is what is best for Smith County moving forward. Now, I did my best to simplify this as much as possible when making this decision. And with me, there were some automatic no-goes for this. The first no-go, if you will, was the raises for the school employees. If they were going to lose the raises with this, I would not support that. They will not lose their raises. That is not the case. Second no-go was the money for the school's general fund that they've done a good job to build up over the past several years. If they were going to lose that to the county, okay, I would not support that. That would not be right. However, that is not the case. That money will stay with the school. Third no-go, okay, the grant money that the schools get. If they're going to get grant money that they work for and that they go after, if they were going to have to give a percentage of that money to the county and not keep it with the school, that's not right. I wouldn't support that. Okay? However, that is not the case. If the school continues to do the things they've been doing well, going after grants, okay, and all the things they've been doing well to build up their general fund, that money stays with the school. I will also say, so those are the things that the 81 Act is not going to do. Let's talk about the things that the 81 Act will do. Okay? It will give the county a better credit rating. We have a lot of big ticket items coming up for the county. We've got roads. We've got a new school possibly in the near future. I've heard estimations for a school upwards, the high estimations could be north of $100 million. If this is going to give the county a better credit rating for all these big ticket items that are on our doorstep, this could save the county hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars over the long term. That's a big deal for this county. The biggest positive in my mind with the 81 Act is transparency. With that, I will say, several months ago, there were some questions raised. Okay? What I will say about it is, I believe 100% that those questions that were raised would not have been raised if the county was under the 81 Act at that time. Having said this, I will say that I have made the decision here tonight, after gathering as much information as I can, okay, the best decision that I can, okay, to support the 81 Act. Now, I know that every single commissioner here tonight is going to vote for what they think is best for the county. And that's all we can ask for. But that's where I stand.
Connor? Y'all have to indulge me just a little bit. I wasn't at the special call meeting, so this is the first chance I've had to talk about this. And there's a couple of points I really would like to hit, and I try to speak as loud as I can. I don't want to get Mr. Eddie mad at me. But before I get started, I want to say something that really shouldn't have to be said, and it's that everybody here just wants to do what's best for Smith County. Everybody here is a public servant, school board members who spoke, the teachers, the gentleman here from the state. Everybody here is a public servant who ultimately wants what's best for this county. And I hope everyone knows that that's genuinely what's in my heart. I believe it's what's in every one of our hearts. So that's what we're trying to come to and make a decision about. Not what's the easiest decision today, but what's going to be the best decision for this county when my daughter is choosing to start her family here in hopefully at least 30 years before she gets married. That's what I'm trying to decide today. Maybe longer than that if I have anything to say about it. So the question is, what does the 1981 Act actually do? And we've heard everything tonight about what it's going to do, and this is how I've been explaining it to people. It changes the job title of 8 people in the county. That's what the 1981 Act does. It changes the job title and changes who they report to. That's it. It creates a Department of Finance to administer the finances of the county, and under a Director of Finance, all of which is supervised by a management committee which I will add the Director of Finance is a member of. The Director of Schools is a member of. It requires more frequent financial reports than our current system under the 1957 Act, and those reports are sent to the County Commission and to each department head on a monthly basis, which is significantly more frequently than they're currently sent. It provides more checks and balance on potential fraud and abuse of county funds. And Commissioner Irizarry just spoke about the increase to the credit rating. The 1981 Act could increase our credit rating, not one grade, but potentially 2 grades. We're currently a AA negative, and the 1981 Act could increase it to AA or AA positive. And you might say, well, who gives a rip about credit ratings? Why does that matter? Well, because the credit rating agencies know what centralized finance is, and that it's better for a county, and that it results in a stronger, fiscally stronger county. The money guys don't care about politics. They care about what do the numbers show, what does history show, and that's why they increase a credit rating when you have centralized finance. And I spoke to the local government finance expert who advises the county, and he said an increase in even just one credit rating, like Commissioner Irizarry told us, is thousands of dollars whenever you go to get a loan. And if you start talking about building schools, renovating buildings, building new buildings, that number is significantly higher. So think about that. We work hard every single budget season. I know each and every one of you, some of you have been around on budget committees longer than I've been here on the commission, and the effort that we put into to scrape and save every penny that we can, taxpayer money. And here's a chance by centralizing and providing a better product that we can save potentially thousands of dollars. Now, I personally have talked to quite a few people about this, and there have been some, I don't know if I want to call them rumors, misunderstandings that I've had to deal with that I would like to address tonight. And this isn't getting into personal attacks, because those don't even deserve a response. But I've heard that we are trying to cram this through and engage in some kind of hostile takeover of the school's budget. We had a special call meeting where we spent 2 hours doing nothing but talking about the 1981 Act, giving everybody under the sun a chance to come talk about this. It went through 2 steering committee meetings, and now it's on the agenda tonight, public notice. That's 4 opportunities for any member of Smith County to come in here, to sign up, and to tell us what they think about this. And I don't know if we've ever done anything as a county where there were 4 opportunities for public comment, ever. No budget we've ever done, none of that. And so it's just, if somebody was trying to sneak this through, they're doing a real bad job of it tonight. And the other thing that I've heard is we're going to take teachers' raises away. Again, Commissioner Irizarry addressed that. Absolutely nothing will change with who sets the school's budget. The school board still has complete authority in that, and nothing changes that. I've heard that we're coming for the school's fund balance, and we're trying to take over the school's budget. Completely false. The school board sets line items. We give thumbs up or thumbs down at the beginning of the year, and then if they want to move money around line items, they have to come just like the county department, just like the mayor's office, just like the sheriff's, and do a budget amendment. The same process, and that's how it will continue to work as always. And I think Title 49 was mentioned by one of the presenters tonight. Title 49, and the citation is 49.352, makes it illegal to move funds after the year from the school's general purpose fund into another department. So not only is it illegal, we wouldn't want to. We don't want to touch that money. We have no intention, and even if we did, it's illegal. And we've got 3 attorneys on the county commission who are going to keep you from doing that, that's for sure. I've been told that I have a vendetta, or the county commission has a vendetta against the school finance office or the director of schools. Nothing could be further than the truth. I think the world of Miss Norma, and there is nothing that is going to change a commissioner's power to remove the director of schools. It's the same as any citizen. My voice on who the director of school is to talk to my local school board member. Just like everybody here. That's the only, well, except for you 5. You got one good voice. But that's the only way that we have a voice, and that will continue to be the only way that we have an impact on the school board, director of schools as well. In fact, the 1981 Act gives more authority and more oversight to the director of schools than is currently under the 1957 Act by making him an irreplaceable member of the Financial Management Committee that oversees all of the Department of Finance. And the last one, again, that's been addressed several times, so I'm not going to get into it, is that the school boards are going to, the school's going to end up waiting weeks to get a purchase order filled. I know this rumor, this statement was flying around, so the county ran a report of how long it took to process a purchase order. And for the sheriff, EMS, mayor's office, and landfill, there was a 45-minute turnaround, and that's giving receipts and the time that the purchase order was received, the request was received, and the time that it was processed by the county's office. And for the highway department, it was just over an hour. So the management committee would set the policies and procedures, and if there's a policy and a procedure relating to purchase orders that works, they're not going to change that policy. This isn't about changing how you do your purchase orders. This isn't about taking away salaries. This isn't about any of that. And the sad part is, at some point, somebody who knew better started spreading those rumors and started telling people that. I don't know if it's to scare them or what, but we are where we are. And like many of you, I bet I've talked to dozens of people about the 1981 Act. I've talked to teachers, administrators, principals, members of the school board, and people who aren't even residents of Smith County. I went through my phone, checked my calls and texts, and then people I talked to on Sunday at church, in Walmart. I had a Smith County citizen stop me in Nashville to talk to me about this. And there's been over 30 people related to schools who I've talked to about this. And once I address these rumors, I can count on one hand the number of people that I talked to who opposed the 1981 Act. In fact, one of the principals I spoke to came and outright expressed support for the 1981 Act. He did ask that his name not be mentioned because of fear of retribution. And well over half of the people that I talked to who supported the 1981 Act the same way and worked in the school said, please don't put my name on anything though, because I'm scared of retaliation. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an embarrassment to the county. And so we've got all these emotions running high, all these rumors. So for me, the most logical thing is to look outside of the county to the people who know this best and see what do they suggest we do. People who know it best at the state, the counties who have already done it, and it's basically one-sided in support of the 1981 Act. The comptroller of the state of Tennessee completely supports moving to a centralized finance either through the 1981 Act or a private act or some other version. And the comment was made, what does the comptroller of Tennessee think he knows about Smith County finance? That comment was made to me. And I'll say more than everybody in this room combined probably is what he knows about local county finance. Why does the comptroller's opinion matter? Why does he recommend central finance? His job, his nickname is the money cop. That's the title he likes because it is his mission, it's his job at the state to make sure both state and local finance is on good footing. They're the group, the comptroller's office is the group that has to come in when somebody starts mismanaging money and get involved and make sure things get back on their feet. They know more than anyone what works and what keeps fraud and abuse from happening. And what do they say? We've been written up every year for decades because we don't have centralized finance system. And what have they told us? Their experience says a centralized system would significantly improve the controls of accounting, purchasing, and budgeting, and a central system would significantly improve accountability and the quality of service provided to the citizens of Smith County. I actually read your audit. I read the whole thing, so I appreciate you taking the time to write it. Probably one of the few people who can say that. but that is what the comptroller has told us. And then let's look at the most recent county in Tennessee that adopted the 1981 Act, Cannon County. We've already heard them talked about here tonight. No jobs lost, implemented in 2020, and the comment was made in a conversation I had, well, you don't really need to consider Cannon County because they were in financial trouble, their schools were in financial trouble when they went to the 1981 Act. And I say the fact that it worked even when they were in financial trouble is great. That shows that the 1981 Act works. It does what it's supposed to do, it's efficient, and it's a good product for us to use. There were similar concerns, as we've heard here tonight, proposed when the Cannon County considered it, and the Cannon County Board of Education has said that the 1981 Act was one of the best things they did for school finance. And across the state, again, the numbers, 31 states in some form of a centralized finance system, and other counties moving that way at the direction and encouragement of the comptroller. And it was mentioned at our special session, which I did watch on YouTube, that there was a commissioner in White County who said it's the worst thing that ever happened. Well, there are some people who do research, and we came to find out that that commissioner had a tire business that sold tires to the county and the school system, and under the 1981 Act, that commissioner could no longer sell tires and lost a significant portion of his business, could no longer sell tires to the county. And if you talk to the mayor of White County, he sings the praises of the 1981 Act and fully supported the change now that they've been in it. And I've probably spoken too long, so this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll sit down. I sat personally with a school board member for almost 2 hours. I had to leave and go to church. We didn't quite get to 2 hours, but for almost 2 hours and talked about this issue. And the comment was made, centralized finance is a great idea, but and maybe we'll need it, I wrote it down, and maybe we'll need it one day, but we don't need it yet because we don't have those issues. What are we going to wait on until Phil Williams is at the courthouse with a camera talking about malfeasance and abuse in Smith County? Well, guess what? It's too late then. It's too late by that point for more transparency and more accountability. And we've seen that when counties are reactive, it's the taxpayer who ends up footing the bill. And we have a chance here tonight to be proactive. We're not saying there's any fraud, any abuse anywhere in the county, but we have a chance, and it may be one of the only chances we have as a body to be proactive and to do something to ensure the county finances are more accountable, more transparent, and better in the future. I'm making my decision on what's best, I believe is best for Smith County, not what's most convenient in the next 15 minutes, but what I think is best for Smith County in the decades to come. And there's people who I love and think the world of, people who I think are better men than I, who disagree with me on this. But in my mind, I mean, it's a no-brainer. We've got unbiased parties telling us this is a significant improvement. We've got the county, or it's going to save the county money in the long term, and it provides a better service for the citizens. So that's why I completely support the 1981.
Any other discussion?
I think one thing that needs to be said here, there's plenty of us, and I'm a parent. I have children in the school system. I would not consider doing something that I felt in the long run would be detrimental to the children of the community. I would not vote for something that I feel would negatively impact my own children in the school system here. And I'm one of the advocates who has said the school system does a great job with their finances. We have amazing teachers, and I would put our teachers up against any other school system, not only in the state of Tennessee, but across this country and across this world. I love our teachers here, and they have done so much for my children, and they love our children. And I understand their passion, I understand their concerns, but I would not do anything to harm the children of this community. The thing about this is isn't just right now, and irregardless who the county mayor is, who the county commission is, who the director of schools is, and who is on the Board of Education, this has to be looked at objectively for what is best for Smith County. Sometimes commissioners have to make hard decisions. Sometimes commissioners may make decisions that don't please everybody. We're not always going to please everybody in every constituency. But there have been commissioners that have come before me that have sat in this body, and they made decisions that were difficult at the time. But because they made difficult decisions now, those of us who sit here have an easier job because of what the past decisions have been made. And I thank those commissioners for that. I think that we're having fortitude to make the tough decisions that were the right decisions. So what I would encourage you tonight is to vote to do what is the best thing for Smith County.
Any other discussion? Last call, for any other discussion? All right, let's do a roll call, Stacy.
Lydia Gregory,
This is to enact the 81 Act,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. This is to enact that resolution.
Yes.
Helen Bowes. Yes. Terry Givens,
No.
Billy Bass.
No.
I'm sorry,
Say
did you say
again.
no? Greta Kirby,
Yes.
Charles Kent,
Yes.
Lynn Brown,
Yes.
Scotty Barrett,
Yes.
Matt Inyard,
Yes.
Erica Ebel. Yes. Cordell Smith,
Yes.
Danny Irizarry,
Yes.
Stephen Leish,
Yes.
Betty Stout,
No.
Casey Elrod,
Yes.
Justin Malden,
Yes.
Barry Cahoon,
Yes.
Tommy Bain,
Yes.
Junior Fields,
No.
Connor McDonald,
Yes.
Tim Beller,
Yes.
Danny Huff,
No.
All right, it had to have 16 votes for a supermajority. It is approved at a vote of 17-5. With that being enacted, part of it is you have to have that first committee meeting within 30 days of the vote. So at this time, we will elect the board on that committee. My suggestions would be Justin Malden, Cordell Smith, Greta Kirby, and Erica Ebel. You can make other nominations.
Could you go through those names again? I'm sorry.
Justin Malden, Cordell Smith, Greta Kirby, and Erica Ebel. You slate forward, or how you want to do it. Is there any other nominations?
Motion to approve those nominations.
I have a motion from Connor and a second from Chad. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. All right, that is the last item of business on our agenda. I would take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Lydia and Connor.